Hello everyone. How many of you struggle every day with complex inventory operations? Inventory management is all about efficiency. It aims at reducing expenses and shortening customer lead times in order to improve the customer satisfaction and to increase the bottom line. But being efficient is really challenging when you have complex operations. How many of you can really feel the frustration of making errors with complex flows? Losing time, wasting money, not being efficient? What if Odoo could further ease your life with the version 15 with our smart put-away rules? So my name is Gilles Merckx. I'm an inventory expert at Odoo, and I will show you how these smart put-away rules can really boost your inventory efficiency with flexibility and automation. Let me present you this simple situation that actually occurs at many of our customers. Think about a truck arriving in the warehouse. The truck is full of products, different products in boxes, in pallets, in units, and the truck will unload all these products in the reception area. There, one operator will come and will have to take each product and decide where to store it in the inventory, in the warehouse. Actually, this is really easy as long as one product always goes in the same location. So when you receive one product, it goes in this shelf. This is easy. But sometimes the situation is more complex and you cannot manage it anymore with the old put-away rules as we did before for simple situation. Marcelo, how can you manage this box?
Ah, piece of cake.
And with this one, what do you do? Oh, you see how it works. Actually, when one product can go in multiple locations, it's more complex to manage because the operator has to check which location is empty, which location is sufficiently big, which location can contain pallets, for example, and that's more difficult to handle. It will be time consuming, as you have seen. It will generate human errors, frustration, and it will increase cost. And this is exactly the situation in which our smart put-away rules can really help you, can be powerful. They will bring flexibility and automation. Flexibility in order to manage complexity, and automation to make sure that this complex flow will be managed in an efficient way. But how can we bring flexibility and automation together? Usually it's one or the other. Thanks to our developers, we have created a storage category. The storage category is actually a group of locations. It enables to group different locations together, such that when the system receives one unit of a product, it will consider multiple locations as potential storage locations. Look, here we have the storage category, and we see that on that storage category, aside of some configurations that we will discuss later on, we have a location smart button. So this storage category will gather multiple locations. And actually, this is really useful because we add an automation layer over that. The automation layer makes that the system will not only know that there are multiple potential locations for one product, but it will automatically decide which is the most suited, the most adapted location in this specific case. So for this product at this moment, depending on which location is empty, which location can contain a specific product. And this is actually very simple and reliable. It will tell the operator what to do, no mistake, no time lost, no frustration. And that will be made possible with some pre-configurations of the storage categories and of the smart put-away rules. On the storage category, you will have to define what's the capacity of your locations of this storage category, whether different products can be mixed together in this location, and so on. There are a few configurations that you can make that way. Another configuration that is very important is the packaging. From now, you are not obliged, but you can do it. You can add the packaging, the package type, on the smart put-away rules. In this way, you will tell the system to take the packaging into account when deciding in which location to store a specific item. And this is a huge improvement because, for example, there are many customers, when they receive a pallet, they store this pallet in a dedicated area for pallets. Whatever product is there, it's really the packaging, the pallet that makes the decision to decide where to put the right product in the right location. How do you feel about it? Exciting, isn't it? Let me show how it works in practice. Okay, So let's start with the configurations for those who would like to reproduce this database. So I have only enabled the minimum to focus on the smart Putaway rules. So I have here the packages, the barcode scanner, the product packaging, the unit of measures, the storage location, the storage categories, and the multi-step rules. So my company actually purchases food and beverages from producers, store everything in a big warehouse, and then deliver to the customer, which are restaurants or supermarkets. Let me show you in Odoo how my company looks like. I have a single warehouse in which I receive goods in one step for simplicity, and in which I deliver goods in two steps. This warehouse is composed of several locations. Here, I focus first on the stock locations. I have two freezers for frozen products, a fridge for fresh products, pallet locations for products that I receive in pallets. All the pallets need to go in one of these two locations, and a main location for all the other products. Actually, I have only a few products in my DB to keep things simple. Some bread, pre-cooked bread, some frozen pizza, some ketchup, and some milk product. Here, the objective of the Smart Putaway rules is really to make sure that when we receive a product, it will be stored automatically in the right location, even when the situation is complex, even when one product can be stored in alternative locations. First, I would like to show you that it still works for simple cases. So if you don't need complexity, when you receive ketchup, it always goes in one location, and when you receive milk product, which is of a product category fresh product, yes, it will always go also in the same place. Then you can still do that with the simple put-away rules. So here I put in favorites the old one. So here I have two put-away rules which say that when we receive ketchup in stock, it would automatically be put in stock main location. And when we receive a fresh product, so here the milk, it would be put automatically in stock fridge. Let's verify that it works fine. I create my RFQ that I will confirm into a PO. I add the milk product, and I add also the ketchup. 1 unit of each. I confirm the order. I receive the good, and there the system tells me that the milk has to go in the fridge and the ketchup is going in the main location. It still works, it's simple, but it's efficient. We don't need more maybe. But in my company, we need more. Situations are more complex because when we receive items, it has to be stored in different locations from time to time, depending on which type of packaging it is, depending on which location is empty, and so on. And so we have a bit more complex configurations for put-away rules. So for that, let me introduce you back the concept of storage category. I have created a storage category which is freezers. In this storage category, I have set two locations. The freezer 1, you can see I have assigned the freezer storage category on this location, and the freezer 2. Okay, so with the storage category freezers, I group these two locations. And I have put a maximum weight of 400 kilograms, which is a maximum weight per location. There is also a capacity by product. I have said that in each freezer, we are limited to 100 frozen pizza. This will be important. And then I can use this storage category for my put-away rules. So here, I can say that when I receive frozen pizza in my stock, the system would automatically select the optimal location in the stock, the optimal sub-location of stock, which is of type freezers, namely either freezer 1 or freezer 2. If I make my purchase for that that frozen pizza, I ask my supplier to provide me, as I have put a limit of 100 units, let me put here that I want to, I want to purchase 60 units. I confirm the order, and then I receive the products. And the system tells me, actually, when you receive the pizza in stock, you need to put that in stock freezer 1. This is because freezer 1 is above freezer 2 in the list of locations, and freezer 1 is available. So as soon as the system finds an available location, it puts the items into it. And I validate the reception. Then let me reorder and receive 60 additional frozen pizza. I cannot put these 60 pizza in the first freezer because then we would have 120 units, which is above the 100 limit. So let's look what the system will propose. The system proposes to put everything in the freezer 2 because it sees that there is not enough space in the freezer 1. That's exactly what we wanted. So I validate and I have put everything in my freezer 2. Note that I can also print labels and put on the different products, and note also that this is all integrated with the barcode to make it efficient. Just here it was not a focus on this presentation. So then the next step, once we can use storage categories to make Putaway rules a bit smarter, a bit more complex, I also want to make sure that when I receive a pallet, this pallet, regardless of the product, will automatically go in the in a location dedicated for pallets. And for that, if you remember well, we have two locations which are pallet locations here, pallet location 1 and pallet location 2. I have created also a storage category for pallets, which is pallet location. And pallet locations gathers pallet location 1 and pallet location 2. You see where I want to go. The maximum weight I have set here on the pallet locations is 500 kilograms. So before we have checked what was the limit, the capacity by product. Now I want to check the maximum capacity by weight. Actually, this is made interesting here because we have added a new feature. We have improved the feature in Odoo, which is the packaging one. So now, if I take my bread, I can show you. We have here a packaging that is added directly on the product, and this packaging I have created, which is a pallet of 80. What's really important is that I have defined that this pallet of 80 units is actually of a type pallet, such that by putting that in the smart putaway rule, the system will know that we receive a product in a package of in a package type, in a packaging which is pallet, and so it needs to be treated as a pallet and put in a location dedicated for pallets. And here we can use it for sales and purchase. This is also an improvement of the packaging feature. We can use it for purchase and not only for sales, and we can use it in all the transfers. So here, once we know how the packaging works, once we know the storage category, let's see how this is grouped into a putaway rule. So here I have my putaway rule for bread, and it says if I receive a pallet of bread in my stock, the system should automatically put this pallet in a sublocation of stock which is of a type pallet location, and we have seen that this category has two different locations, pallet location 1 and pallet location 2. So here, if I make a purchase for a product bread, another change is that if I select the pallet of 80, okay, I click again, okay, here I can say I want 3 pallets of 80. Let's do even 4. Yes. And the system automatically sees that it's a limit. It will be a quantity of 320 units. Actually, I have put a weight of 1 kilogram on the bread, such that we will receive 320 kilograms, which is less actually than the limit on the pallet locations, which is 500 kilograms. I confirm the order, I receive, and the system is fine. It tells me, okay, both pallet locations are empty. You receive a pallet, so put this pallet, or you receive several pallets, put these pallets in the pallet location 1, and I can validate that. This works fine. But now let me duplicate this. I want to receive 320 additional kilograms. But then, if we sum up that with the previous order, it would make 640 kilograms, which is more than the limit of 500 kilograms. So if I receive the product, the system tells me you cannot put it in pallet location 1, you have to put that in pallet location 2. That works fine. Note also that we can use that kind of package type with the packages. So here, if I go on my packages, I could specify that one package, that one specific package is of type palette, and so we will be able to use the smart put-away rules in the same way with packages if we define here a package type of type palette, and if we put on the package a type of palette, that will work also. The last thing I want to show you is that these smart put-away rules can also be used for outbound logistics. So when we deliver, we do it in two steps. So when we put something in the output location just before delivering, we could ask the system to put it specifically in one sub-location. So let's look at the location of the output location, the sub-locations. In the output location for delivery, we have 4 docks. 2 docks for small trucks and 2 docks for big trucks. So if you deliver a small restaurant, you just need a small truck because there is not so much. When you deliver a big supermarket, you will need big trucks. And so you want goods to go in the right location at the right moment. So here we made a simple example, and I created storage category, dock for big trucks and dock for small trucks. And you can see here that the storage category for small trucks, dock for small trucks, has a limited weight of 100 kilograms because it's only for small trucks. And the max weight for dock for big trucks is of 200 kilograms. And of course, as you probably have imagined, we have here in the location dock for big trucks, the dock 3 and 4, which are for big trucks. And it would be the same exactly, of course, if I take 4 small trucks, it would be the 2 small truck locations. Okay, so here, if I sell something, let me, for example, take my customer and sell frozen pizza. If I decide to sell 60 units and I confirm, okay, I have my 2 deliveries. I first have my pick, so I put everything in the output location. The system automatically recognizes that it has to go in dock 1 for small trucks because it's the first put-away rule and because the place is available. So here, if I go back to my put-away rules, so if I group by location when arrives to, actually we can see here that the first put-away rule here is the one that send items in the dock for small trucks. So it means that if we receive something, and it could go in both of these, it would first check the first put-away rule, and if it gets triggered, that's it. If it checks in the location for small trucks and if it cannot put that into there, it will not trigger the smart put-away rules and it will move to the next one, which has not been necessary in this case. Okay, so here it is for the small demonstration, and I come back on the slides. So here, actually, if you want to make a small summary, a small recap, smart put-away rules will really enable you to manage complex flows in a simple way. It will allow you to consider multiple locations when receiving a specific product for storage, and it will also automatically tell you which is the most suited location for that product at this moment. This is really a huge improvement as compared to the previous version, and in many complex situations it will save you time and improve your efficiency. Are you ready to test it? I really hope that yes, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have questions, it will be my pleasure to treat and to tackle each of these. I will stay there here to answer your question. Thank you very much.
Hey guys, I found the ketchup. I'm gonna look for the pizzas now.
Hello everyone. So welcome to this Q&A session. I'm here with Gilles. We will start immediately with the first question. So Gilles, what if we would know another 60? Would it split the next receipt into the 2 locations?
Yes, Arnaud. So actually, the thing is that if you receive 60 and you don't have space for 60 in your location, the system will not do a partial delivery. It will put everything in a location where there is room for 60. So it will not split the receipt. It will put everything in the next location which can receive 60.
Okay, thank you. So it will
Okay.
redirect instead of just splitting the.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It just like you have the different locations possible. It would move to the next one. It will not do a partial one.
Okay. Okay. We have another question. Instead of weight, can we use the volume for the storage capacity?
Actually, not. That's a question we sometimes have. Trying to manage deliveries and limits based on volume rather than on weight. But this is much more difficult to manage because it's not because you have two boxes of one specific uh, um, volume that the sum of the volume of the boxes will be the total volume, because sometimes you lose space at some places. So it's much more difficult to make constraints based on volume than on weight. So that's why it's only possible with weight for the moment, at least. Yeah.
Yes, and especially is depending on the size and the form of the
The
box.
shape of
So
the
yeah,
box will
of course.
be, of course, a
Okay.
constraint to manage, difficult. Yeah.
Can you explain how packagings and package integrate with the smart putaway rules?
Yeah, so we discussed that during the talk, but it's true that maybe we can re-explain and take a bit more time about that. So before in Odoo, packaging and packages were really two independent concepts. So now it's still two different concepts, but they are linked with the package type. So now we can use for the smart putaway rules the package type, and regardless whether it's based on a packaging or a package, the package type will be a criteria for the smart putaway rules to work. And so if you put the right package type on the packaging or on the package, that will work in both situations.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do-
I think that's
it?
yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Any way to manage multi-level packages?
No, so multi-level packages is not possible. We cannot
Okay.
put a package in a package.
Okay. Yeah. We have a more precise question here. If we have two locations with a max of 100 and we have 60 in location 1 and we receive another 60, what can happen? Can we split the receipt in 40 and 20?
So by default, it will not be split, as we said a bit earlier. But actually, if you decide to put 40 in a package and 20 in another package, then it's possible to manage the two lines, the two parts differently.
Okay. Another one, is it possible to have specific routes for packaging?
Yeah, actually, from version 15, we have the opportunity on a product, on a packaging, sorry, to define a specific route. So if we want to manage all pallets in a specific way, we can define on packaging which have a package type of pallet, we can define a specific route, and then it will be priority over the route on the product, on the product category, or on the warehouse.
Okay, so it will basically allow you to treat the same product differently based on the packaging it is in. Is it correct?
Yes, but the logic is that with smart putaway rule, you can really decide to manage the flows, the physical flows in your inventory based on which packaging you use. So if you have a pallet, maybe you want to put a pallet in a specific location for pallets. And so here it's possible, when you have a package type pallet, for example, to define a specific route so that every time you receive a pallet, this will be managed as a pallet, and with a specific route for pallets, it will go to different location and steps because it's a pallet and not a simple product, for example.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it, if I set the max capacity at 100, for example, is it possible to receive like 110, or will the system just block me from doing this?
So if I simply use the smart putaway rule, if I receive is it in weight or it's not? If I receive 110 units and I have a capacity of 100 units, then the system will not suggest to put it in that location. But what you need to know is that the smart putaway rule is a suggestion. You can always force it. You can always manually change the destination location if you want to say, I put that in that location. Okay. What you can also do is having a residual location with a smart putaway rule where you would say everything that cannot be put in any other location with smart putaway rules would be put in that location, like a residual smart putaway rule that would put everything in a residual location where you would manage then manually where the different items would go.
Okay, so nothing is really blocked. It's just something that you define as it should be like that, but it's still manageable if you have like exception, for example.
Yeah, it's automated. The suggestion is automated so that you can be very fast, very efficient. But you can always change it because we want to remain flexible.
Okay, of course. I have another one. Is there a map of graphic location in Odoo?
No, Actually, there is no map of the locations in Odoo. We don't think it's really a priority. We recognize sometimes it might be maybe useful, but we don't think it's really a priority for us. But what's important in Odoo is trying for different purposes, for example, for batch picking, to try to organize your location in the list in Odoo, to organize these locations in the same order than or they are placed in the warehouse, such that if you have a batch picking, it will make sure that the right decisions are taken by the system at the right moment. So this tool is really very powerful, but then if you want to make it complex, you will need to have complex knowledge of of the feature and complex configuration. But
Okay.
if you want to keep it simple, then it can be super simple also.
I think the goal here is always to keep simple at least at the beginning, and maybe go into the complication later on.
Yeah, keep it simple
Keep
always.
it simple. Okay. Thank you for all your clear answers.
Thank you to
here.
you.
And thank you all for watching the talk and asking all those questions. And see you later. Bye.
Good. Thank you.